Right now we're going to look at some things to emphasize the importance of why you want to start at a young age in pruning your apple tree the correct way. We get called out to a lot of homeowners' homes, and maybe they've purchased the home from someone else and now they want to start taking care of this tree that's been sort of neglected for a number of years. This tree has a problem that started way back when it was just a wee little tree. It doesn't have a central leader. It's got two branches that are kind of co-dominant with each other. Whenever the smallest branch attached to the trunk is over half the size of the main trunk, you don't get a good strong union here. The split down the middle is the branch bark ridge, and because of this really narrow angle in the middle, this V-shaped crotch, and it being almost as big as the one that it's attached to, it hasn't formed what's called the branch collar around the outside. The branch collar is really strong tissue that helps to keep it attached. So what can happen with these narrow angles is in the winter, when you get a load of snow and ice on this can very easily just split right down the center. So that is why you want to have angles at closer to from 45 to 60 degrees versus this is, say, maybe 25-degree angle or something like that. But you definitely don't want to have a V as a crotch angle. We talked earlier about when you cut a tree, you're going to get a response of a bunch of limbs coming out from where you made that cut at. Right here, because they've cut and have this branch going sideways and no central leader, all of these branches right here want to become the central leader. These are called water sprouts. They're just really vigorous upright growth, and if you look up, you'll see flower buds on the rest of the tree, but these are not going to be productive wood. So all of these, if you make a large cut like this, you're going to constantly have to come back and remove all of these water sprouts. And then guess what happens next year after you remove these water sprouts? You're going to get more water sprouts. So that's why we want to keep that one central leader. Having that one central leader will prevent this from happening. So it's a lot of work, you can see, to come back in here, and everywhere I'm making one of these cuts, I'm probably going to get 3 or 4 more water sprouts coming out from that spot. Lots going on up here in the top of the tree, and we're not going to have time to completely prune this tree. To do it, it would take, well over an hour, but we've just got way too much growth. We want to come through here, and then all of this upright growing stuff, and any of this tiny crossing branches need to go. Anything growing towards the inside of the tree needs to go, and look for things with splits and diseases. Right here we've got a major place where a branch split off, and this is a good entry point for different insects and diseases. Another reason why we want to start training a tree while it's really young is we really want to avoid making cuts that are this large. Whenever you cut right outside of what we call the branch collar, it's where the healing process is going to start. Tissue is going to start growing towards the center over, this is heartwood. The heartwood is no longer living. It's just there for support, so it can't grow back and heal itself over. So this tissue has to start from the outside and grow towards the center. So, what happened here is that's about as far as it got. And so now we've got all this heartwood that's exposed, and this is just an entryway for pest and disease. So we really want to try to avoid making cuts that are this large. Over here you can see a cut that was made where they didn't cut close enough to the branch collar. And you can see the branch collar a little better right here. You see these little ridges that run sideways. This cut really needed to have been made, closer down into that tissue. Had it been made down there, that would have closed the wound a lot better. Now it's a little hard to get in here to do that, but This will never heal back over itself, so this is yet again another entryway for disease. This tree, to me, out of all that we've looked at the small orchard today, probably has the least objectionable structure to it. All the branches have a pretty good angle. We don't have any of those real narrow V's like we saw on the other trees. And you'll notice how these all have a branch collar, which holds the branch into the trunk of the tree, whereas the ones with the V did not have that branch collar tissue around each limb that's coming out. There was one bad cut that was made here, and that's starting to decay a little bit. And had it been made a little more flush to the branch collar, that probably would have healed itself over. Otherwise, this one, I think we can do some cleaning up on this tree and still have a pretty decent looking tree. So we would want to come in here and, get the crossing branches out of the tree. That probably, because this one crosses over that one, I would probably go ahead and thin that out. It's good to make some of these cuts too, because if you keep every fruit bud on the tree, then you're going to have a lot of small apples versus fewer apples but larger, more usable apples. So I would take a lot of this, all this right here away. You really want to try to open up the center and let air be able to circulate. We want light hitting each of the fruits. And ideally we would do this before we have flowers on the tree. We want to do it ideally late in the winter, early in the spring, but you want to constantly be thinning an apple tree over the summer. Big thing, you want to remove the new growth, because the new growth is not producing fruit, it's just taking energy away from the fruit that's already on the tree. As a general rule though, you don't want to remove more than, say, 30 to 50% of the branches in any one cutting.